This is Orphan Sunday, and every year at this time we make a special appeal to you for and on behalf of orphans throughout the world. Our own mother of orphans, as we can call her that here in our parish, but an exemplar of the good family living children, is going to speak to us, Lisa Murphy. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Monsignor. Can we move to the slide? Up there. Thank you. Thank you so much for always allowing us to shine a light on something we're very passionate about. My name is Lisa Murphy. My husband and I have been parishioners here since 2006. We have 5 beautiful children, all through adoption, 4 on earth and 1 little guy in heaven. And all of them were baptized here at St. Vincent Ferrer. Obviously a special place in our hearts. So I'm also the founder of Open Hearts for Orphans, a 501c3 nonprofit organization created in Daniel's memory to care for orphaned and abandoned children around the world through medical intervention, through meeting basic needs, and through providing our Say Yes adoption grants. So we have been able to accomplish a lot this year, but today I want to focus on our adoption grants because last year I came here and spoke to everybody, and wow, St. Vincent Ferrer really stepped up. We've been able to provide 30 of our adoption grants this year, and you collectively were responsible for 20 of those grants. But I want to share how that impacted children. So 38 children with special needs from 11 different countries, including the US, are in the process or have been adopted by Jesus-loving families here in the United States. 18 sons and 20 daughters. And 14 of those grants were for Down syndrome adoption. The other 16 were for special needs, including cerebral palsy, spina bifida, congenital heart disease, cleft palate, limb differences, children who have been trafficked, and even a young man with an inoperable brain tumor. Most of these children were not infants or under 2. Most of them were between the ages of 3 and 12, and even 4 teenagers have been adopted. So 7 of these children are currently home. One family was just united with their daughter in India who has Down syndrome on Friday night while we were sleeping. And the reason that the rest of the families haven't been able to travel is because of COVID. So in addition to what I'm asking today, I would just love, love, love your prayers on behalf of these families and the children who are waiting. They need things to clear up before they can travel. It just seems endless to them. And they just want to get to their children. Obviously, an orphanage is not the best condition for these children. I'd like to share 2 of the stories that you've been a part of, and I like to call these pandemic phrases. If we could move to the next slide. This is Vladdy. So Vladdy was born in Eastern Europe in 2003, and he was abandoned by his parents because of cultural differences. He was sent to an orphanage where he laid in a crib for 6 years. So then at 6 years, he was transferred to an institution and remained in a crib while his body began to twist and form and become misformed from lack of movement. The local hospital refused to treat him, and other children came and went from the institution, but not Vladdy. As his 16th birthday approached, people advocated for him, and a family in the United States, the Richardsons, said yes, and they decided to make Vladdy their son. They flew over in January of 2020. That was kind of before things went crazy, and they signed the paperwork, and they had the wherewithal to sign power of attorney to someone who could be in court because it requires a couple of trips. Well, they had to come back, and of course, when the pandemic went crazy, they were concerned about the survival of their son. They didn't know if they were going to be able to go back and get him. So they were forced to leave. He did not pass his TB test, and he had to stay in country. At 16 years of age and weighing less than 30 pounds, he needed a miracle. The Richardsons were granted that miracle when there was one flight that was leaving, and there was an American family who was willing to bring him to the U.S. And it was unprecedented that he was allowed to leave the country without a parent present. So he landed on U.S. soil. He became a U.S. citizen. His mom met him at the airport, and they quarantined for 2 weeks. The picture on the right is Vladdy, and that shows you what 7 months of love and good care can do for a child. And by the way, that was one of 3 children with special needs that they adopted. The next slide is beautiful Millie. Millie is also from an orphanage in Eastern Europe, and she spent 16 years in a crib. So funny, I was introduced to her through these families over the summer, and I just, here we are. I'm thinking, we're sitting here in our comfy homes, and we're complaining that we can't go anywhere, and that we're all cooped up and isolated in our homes. And I'm thinking to myself, what is wrong with us? Like, she has been in a crib for 16 years, never going outside, never seeing the sun. And there are so many kids like her. So Millie just came home last week. That picture on the right is her first photo as a U.S. citizen. And we praise the Lord for her and her life. And I'm hoping that you can see the urgency, and I'm hoping that you can see what a difference that you've been able to help us make. It's been said that if Orphans formed a country, it would be the 9th largest country in the world. It's also been said that one of the saddest things about this fallen world is that an adoption can cost $40,000, yet an abortion can cost $400. The process is costly. And Psalm 68:6 says, set the lonely in families. The thing is, it doesn't have to be our family. We can still be a part of the miracle. You're already involved in this. We can make a difference. So our goal in 2021 is to issue at least as many grants as we have issued this year. Our grants are $1,000, and so we'd love to make those more. God willing, we will. And we'd love your help to reach that goal. As far as basic needs go, we feel like having a family is pretty high up on that list. So there's some donation envelopes in your pew. I'll be over there. My dear friend, Sister of Christ, Carrie Socha, is over on the other end. Any questions, happy to answer. If you're not prepared today, we have a website. I'm always available to answer any questions or to talk about how you'd like to help the orphan crisis. And with a $10 donation or more, we'd like to send you home with one of these special magnets with a message. Love them all. Very simple. Not the ones just here, not the ones there. Our neighbor doesn't mean necessarily next door. It's on earth. Love them all. So we'd like you to have that as our little gift. And just thank you for being a part of something that's way bigger and bigger than us. And to God be the glory. Thank you.
Thank you.